Subscribe to our channel, and hit the bell icon, to never miss a video from us.
Hello everyone, today we have with us Mr. Sumit Verma, a seasoned marketing professional with over 12 years of extensive domestic and global experience in digital marketing with exposure to a wide range of areas like strategy, operations, program management, marketing, customer relationship management and analytics. Sumit has competence in setting up new operations and scaling them up into sustainable and profitable businesses. He has also accomplished excellence in engaging with global leadership, decision makers, influencers, and gaining buy in for strategic initiatives. He has worked in senior capacities as specialist global marketing solutions at Facebook, senior manager digital marketing at Blinkit, and presently working as principal search specialist at Google. We seek your guidance to learn more about the subject, sir, and please kindly share your career journey with our viewers. We welcome you to this expert interview series and hope you have a good time with us.
Thank you. Thank you, Tanmay, for those kind words. Really happy to be here and share anything that I can. Probably have not accomplished as much as you have included in my introduction, but yeah, happy to share my thoughts. Happy to share anything that you or someone who is interested in a career in digital marketing would be interested in. It's interesting because I started my journey, as you said, like around 11 to 12 years of experience, right? So I started my journey in around 2010, 2011, and it's been so long, so I can say like back in the day, it wasn't that much of a buzzword, or maybe I wasn't kind of very much aware, right? I pretty much, and maybe by design, maybe by luck, I actually just kind of my career started. I just kind of like responded to a digital marketing ad only, which said Facebook was hiring, which is now Meta, right? So I looked at a Facebook ad which said Facebook was hiring, and if you remember, and again, like this is maybe someone who's, if you remember something about like 28, 20, 29, and 2008, 9, 10. Orkut used to be like the big social network in India, right? And Facebook was just kind of coming up. So by the time I finished my postgrad, which was 2010, Facebook had already kind of arrived. It was kind of like it was something new, something exciting. And digital marketing, I knew that it's the kind of work which was challenging, and it wasn't very, very kind of popular because some of these companies were still kind of coming up, right? If you talk about like 12 years back, right? So it was something new and exciting, which is what kind of pushed me towards it. Right. At the same time, I also knew it was challenging because we were not kind of like prepared for it. Like back in like right now, you have like so many amazing kind of courses and schools and like things that you can do, Vskills included. But again, like back in the day, like there wasn't like I wasn't prepared for a career in digital marketing based on my college experience, right? So I went through it, figuring out that this will be something new and exciting. So let me take a shot here. And once I kind of started in the industry, I really kind of enjoy being in an industry where we can see like marketing results kind of like in real time, maybe and also like quick and accurate. Right. So I also like the kind of like measurement tailored, data tailored storytelling approach, which digital marketing kind of enables us. So yeah, that's been kind of like what kind of or how my journey started. So again, as you mentioned, like I work as a product specialist where I work on search ads with Google, right? So our main goal or a day in our or a day in like in our life looks like working with some of our leading brands in the world, trying to understand what is their business objective, what are the business challenges, right? Because at the core of any kind of at the core of any marketing challenge is like what is the business trying to achieve, right? So understanding the business objective and then figuring out how we can ensure that they meet their business objective using Google Ads product, right? Which in my case would be search ads. We work with multiple teams across geographies to kind of build and execute strategies, right? A lot of our work includes data analysis, includes uncovering insights, includes industry analysis, includes building strategy, and then working with teams to kind of like execute those strategies. It takes a village to kind of build a successful marketing campaign,
Yeah.
right? We don't work
Yeah.
in isolation, so you do have to don different hats at different times, right? Right, as I mentioned, like right from analysis to insights to building strategy to just like executing campaigns and all of that, right? So that is kind of like where most of our day kind of like looks like. We do also work on a bunch of other projects which could or could not be related to search ads, right? And that's a given function of the company that I work for, which kind of gives us which kind of gives us enough time to work on separate projects also. So we do work on other projects, and this includes like pretty much most of the folks who work. Um, and so specialists, like we do work on other projects to help our advertisers, which could be to help our users, which could be to help our teammates also, right? We do spend some time on doing work which may or may not directly be related to search ads. So, right. So a decent amount of time also goes in like other things, um, which we ensure that is to benefit of our advertisers or users or our fellow Googlers. It's interesting, like, right? Like if I had to kind of like and I know like we'll touch base upon a bunch of other things, but if I have to start with two, right? The number one and two for me would be a problem solving approach, and it would be kind of, and the second one would definitely be eagerness to learn. And I tell you how these kind of two uh, intertwine with each other, and then we'll talk about like a couple of others, right? So with solving approach, it's again like it's thinking about like we're talking about digital marketing, right? But at the end of the day, we're trying to solve a marketing problem, right? If brand A or brand B wants to achieve a particular thing, right? So how do you solve this marketing challenge using the tools that digital marketing is providing you, right? So I think like the first skill that we should be kind of looking at, and again, like this is probably for like goes beyond digital marketing, is trying to like understand how do you approach a problem, how do you solve a problem, right? Going through the process of it and not directly kind of jumping to the end result of it, right? And the second one is like just like eagerness to learn and just like willingness to learn. And that's a big thing, because as you would also be aware, like this is an ever evolving field, right? Where new products get launched, products keep on changing and updating every now and then. So we're all kind of like learners in this industry, right? So we definitely someone who's looking in to excel kind of in this in digital marketing, um, should be open to kind of like constantly learning and evolving. So that eagerness to learn, right? We can all kind of learn different tools which are provided here and there, like, and there's like a lot of stuff that you can read online, that you can take courses and all of that. So if you have like that willingness and eagerness to learn, I think that kind of like is a big, I know it's not technically, may not be a technical skill, but it is a very kind of big skill that we also kind of look at. um, Couple of other things that I would, that I can talk about is that if data analysis or data analytics is pretty much not the core of all of this, but it is a data-driven kind of marketing, right? So if you're good with analysis, you know, which basically is like utilization of functional procedures and using modern softwares to process large sets of information and figuring out what to do with that information, right? A lot of times we do kind of process data, but it's also about what do you do with that information, right? And how do you use it to like tell a story, which will come into the other part, which is communication, right? So I think data analysis is pretty important. Like, how do you just like understanding at least the basics of it, and then kind of like trying to hone your skills towards it, um, because this is a kind of data-driven marketing. And the next, as I said, like, right, how do you use this data to kind of tell a story, right? And which is where communication, like good communication skills in a in a marketer or a digital marketer could include multiple variables such as spreading impactful messages, establishing trust, and building relationships. The goal here is to create an impactful message and to deliver it to customers in a way that's very clear, very concise, and relevant, right? So communication is also kind of very important, both from an internal and external perspective. So external is when you're communicating to the customer, to the consumer, but internally also when you're talking to teams, when you're talking to kind of in today's world, we all kind of like work with different teams spread across different geographies and different areas. So communication is also very crucial when it comes to kind of just ensuring that we're all kind of working together towards the same goal, both internally and externally. So that's about communication. And the last thing, like it's pretty much like kind of a given. It's to ensure that you kind of like that you do have product expertise, that you do understand, that you do kind of keep constantly keep learning, constantly keep be updated on what is it that the product can help you with, right? Be a subject matter expert on certain things, right? And kind of that gives you that edge that if like let's say it could be like something small, something like an email marketing or something within search ads perspective, right? So try to be a subject matter expert in some of the things. So yeah, I think like these 4, 5, I think I've spoken about 4 or 5 things.
Yes, yes, you did.
Could be important. I'm sure there are other skills also, but these are like 3 or 4 or 5 which I kind of like ensure that I keep a tab on.
Okay.
So with digital marketing trends, so we have an interesting thing at work also. We do kind of like set aside some time separately. We literally block it on our calendar, which is just to kind of block for learning,
Okay.
right, for our teams. So that's the time which we have blocked, and we can do a better job of like ensuring that it doesn't kind of like overflow with the other kind of like work stuff. But we do kind of set up some time separately to ensure that we are a reading up on product updates, reading up on current products, reading up on trends and everything. And that could be again, like I'm sure like anyone who's working for an organization, they would have their internal kind of newsletters and updates and all. So ensure that you're on top of your internal kind of work stuff. And at the same time, also there are kind of like other newsletters, blogs, YouTube channels, right? Like, and all of that, which I do kind of follow to ensure that I'm also aware of externally what's happening in the tech world, right? A lot of times we do have can tend to be we can tend to work in silos, that we're only kind of focused on our product and we're not aware of like what's happening anywhere else, right?
Right.
So I deliberately kind of like ensure that I'm also aware of what's happening in other aspects, let's say in other channels of digital marketing, and also beyond the products that I work with, right? And then the third one is like also to be sure of all the updates that are happening with the products that I work with. So yeah, setting aside some time just from a learning perspective, even right now, that kind of helps.
Wow.
So performance metrics. So when I said like it takes a village to kind of set up a campaign, I meant like entire marketing thing, like not just
Yeah.
setting up one campaign. So yeah, so in terms of performance metrics, it depends, as I mentioned right earlier. We do kind of work towards ensuring that an advertiser achieves their company objectives, right? Their goals. So performance metrics are also kind of dependent on company objectives, right? So let's say if a brand is trying to drive traffic towards their website or towards a particular kind of channel, right? Their KPIs or their performance metrics which they're using might be more clicks driven, right? Might be CTRs, even though CTRs are kind of more traditional metrics, right? So they might be looking at that. If they're kind of if their goal is to ensure that more and more people kind of see my video, it's a brand driven campaign. So their objectives might be, how many views am I getting? What is my cost per view and all of that, right? So these are kind of like, if you look at the marketing funnel, these could be like your upper funnel metrics, right? Where again, like reach and awareness can also be a metric. again, depends on the advertiser goals and where they are or what they're trying to achieve through this through their marketing campaigns or digital marketing campaigns, right? Are they trying to achieve awareness, consideration, or are they actually trying to drive purchase, right? Purchase intent or purchase, right? Because if you're trying to drive like conversions or purchase, you can directly measure purchases, uh, any kind of purchase activity or any kind of conversions, right?
Okay.
You can track it back to, right? So it could be like how many folks like directly buy from a website. So it could be, right, like number of purchases, number of conversions, cost per purchases, and all of that, right? But more and more, we're also witnessing advertisers move towards the return on ad spend, which is where if we're tracking, let's say, acquisition or conversions or purchases on our website, and we're also passing the value of like what is a purchase, what is the value of a purchase for me, right? Then marketers are more and more leaning towards understanding, okay, what is my return on ad spend, right? So fine, I did I got like 100 signups or 100 leads or 100 people kind of purchase something from me, but what was the value of it, right? So that you can track it back to the okay, and I spent 100 rupees on my marketing this month, this week, and in return I kind of I kind of acquired 500 rupees in terms of overall revenue. So more and more we're also looking on return on ad spend, ROAS, as very important kind of performance metrics. So emerging marketing trends, right? So one would be like, I think automation will be very big,
Okay.
right? And it has been kind of coming, right? And within automation, I think like AI and the combined use of AI to drive automation will be very big, right? AI being integrated into almost every marketing channel, digital marketing channels, right? Algorithms kind of figuring out posts, content that you engage with, also kind of like including the search results and also the ads kind of displayed, right? AI and automation is making marketing smarter, connecting consumers to the exact right products and messages, right? So I think that's like kind of like that'll be one big thing. Couple of others that I can think of will also be, I think we will move more towards omni-channel experience, right? Most consumers kind of shift between various devices.
Yeah.
So a consistent and unified experience across all touch points is important, right? Centralizing critical information about the business and distributing it across marketing channels is necessary for a seamless omni-channel experience in 2023.
Yeah.
Speed of change across channels, building trust with consumers, all of that is pretty kind of important. Also, with the release of GA4, Google is also kind of like training marketers to kind of focus on customers' behaviors and attribution from various channels across the customer journey, rather than just the one last click channel, right? Discovery of content, good website user experience, and site health would also be kind of pretty important for 2023.
Okay.
So this is omni-channel. Maybe like probably one more. I think like it's already kind of there. Will be kind of like uh, community building, right? And I think we've already seen this in the last couple of years post-COVID, right?
Yes.
Right from influencer marketing, which is growing rapidly. Savvy customers kind of curate information and follow expert opinions from people they trust before making purchasing decisions,
Yes.
right? So building an expert community and at the same time providing the most valuable information, which is helpful, and also aligning with various KPIs such as engagement and also measuring success. So I think the kind of like marriage of community building, and at the same time also figuring out how do we measure the value of that community, right, with our business KPIs. I think that'll be also interesting, something interesting to look forward in 2023.
Yeah.
So again, like not an expert in this, but from my experience, what I can share is a so two things like to begin with,
Yeah.
like, right. Focus on your strength and ensure you cover all bases, right? So there'll always be some things that all of us are good at. There'll always be some things that we can kind of like improve upon, right? So focus on your strength, but ensure that we're covering all of our bases. Um, One or two of the other bigger ones that I would kind of like that I can talk about is that, and I think like we spoke about this earlier, is like understand the problem, right? Like focus more on problem solving, sorry, and the approach. Uh, Digital marketing will give you tools to solve a marketing challenge or a marketing problem. So I think we can do what we could be focusing more on is to understand the problem, um, and then figuring out the approach rather than directly jumping into the solution. A lot of times we actually like directly jump into the solution, right? For example, if we have to kind of like build something for ABC brand, right? How do we build this for ABC brand? Rather than jumping into the solution, right? Focus on like ask as many questions as you possibly can. Not
Yeah.
possibly can, but ask the right questions, right? What are some of the things? What are our KPIs and all of that, right? A lot of times we've seen that folks kind of jump into conclusions and solution very quickly, wherein the idea is to understand the problem solving approach.
Right.
Because like we're not looking for a solution. No one's looking for a solution when you are having a conversation and for half an hour. So just focus on the approach, take your time, and ask follow-up questions. For someone who's just trying to just starting in this industry, I would say most important thing is be patient and do not get overwhelmed.
Okay.
Digital marketing is kind of very very vast, and it has grown rapidly over the last few years, right? So that means there's a lot of content everywhere, right? Even if you like raise your head like to watch any video on YouTube or anywhere, right? There's just
Yeah.
like so much of content there that do this and this will happen, and like 10 tricks of this, 10 tips of this, and all of that. So my 2 cents will always be patient. um all Everything takes time, right?
Yeah.
And do not get overwhelmed, right? Like even when the kind of like any think of this as joining any new organization, there's just so much information kind of like shared with you
Yeah.
that you tend to get like overflowed with information, overload of information, right? Like how do I do this, how do I learn this, also I have to take care of this also. Just be patient, right? um uh, it'll come through. All of this will kind of come through time. And the other thing is like just practice makes better,
Yeah.
right? Practice makes perfect, practice makes better, and then practice makes perfect. So kind of like ties into like don't get overwhelmed and just keep on practicing, keep taking small steps. Build, right? Build small campaigns and learn, right? Like I think this is a quote by Frank Herbert, who's a consultant, who mentioned that one learns from books and examples only that certain things can be done. Actual learning requires you to do those things,
Okay.
right?
Wow.
So I would recommend, like when you're starting your journey, just try like get your hands dirty, right? Like build your small campaigns like on your own, like take someone's help, and be patient and just do not get overwhelmed. It's like there's an information overload everywhere. um, Keep your head down and just take small steps. It could keep on changing, right?
Yeah.
But if you're just talking about from a professional perspective and just from a learning perspective, right? I kind of focus, or maybe like most of my career has been through learning and growing, right? Learn and grow, learn and
Yeah.
grow. So again, I think this is, I think Einstein mentioned this, like wisdom is not a product of schooling, but the lifelong attempt to acquire it.
Okay.
Right. This is kind of more philosophical one,
Huh.
but another one, if I can share, I think it's Peter Drucker. I think
Okay.
if I'm not mistaken, is that we now accept the fact that learning is a lifelong process of keeping abreast of change. Right. And the most pressing task is to teach people how to learn. I think that one kind of really hits home at times, is because um, a lot of times we have to kind of like push ourselves to unlearn and then learn something
Yes,
new again.
yes.
Right. So I think like just the process of like unlearning and then learning, unlearning and then learning, kind of like hits home.
Hmm. Makes sense. That's such a nice quote, sir. Thank you so much. I had an amazing time listening to you, and I'm sure even our viewers will understand the importance uh, of the gold mine that you just gave us of information.
Subscribe to our channel, and hit the bell icon, to never miss a video from us.